back to the Reverse Scoop podcast with Adam Bannon and Nabil. How are we, Nabil?
Good. What's going on, Adam? How you doing, man? Another week, another
Fantastic.
Tuesday night,
What
8:30 p.m.
night. I can't believe we're at episode 24. I think it was 24, 25.
Yes,
24.
we are. We are up to episode 24, man.
That's 24 weeks of like solid commitment. Actually, there was a little bit of break, and then we went to Pakistan. But I mean, that's commitment right there. Up to 24 episodes. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely, man. And we're trucking through. We're trucking
through.
Absolutely.
What a time for cricket right now. A lot of cricket happening.
A lot of cricket.
We got a whole lot of things here written down.
Busy week, and Champions Trophy going on right now. We got some USA cricket updates. We had the MLC draft updates, some amazing picks, and teams getting shook up a little bit with players moving around. So we're going to be talking about that, and then we'll get into Virat Kohli hitting that 14K runs, man. It's a big milestone, entering that big club with Sachin Tendulkar and Kumar Sangakkara. So we'll discuss a little bit of that, as well as the Champions Trophy. Pakistan, Bangladesh eliminated. What's it looking like for the teams that are left in the in their divisions, essentially, in the groups, and who will come out on top? So busy night tonight, man.
It's heating up. Champions Trophy's heating up. The rain today, whew, it's put the cat amongst the pigeons, as I say. Cat amongst the pigeons.
Yeah, absolutely.
But first, we're gonna start with MLC. Start here in the USA. Kick it off here with the draft. Now, we speculated last week what's happening with the draft. On the close of the pod, we came to the discovery that it was basically backwards. What we had discussed, what we had speculated was backwards. The draft was essentially for domestic players only. And then the international players throughout the week, we have figured out or read down research on why some people have been let go, some people have been released. So we're going to get into all that now. So let's kick it off with the draft. 2025. The Orcas had plenty of picks. They came bottom of the table last year. They got plenty of picks. They got the first cab off the rank. Let them know who was the opening number one draft pick, Nabil.
Well, we all know, I think, who that is. It's one of our USA stars, Jessy Singh. Props to Jessy Singh for going number one overall in the domestic draft, and his hard work and determination, man. Over the years, his game has really come a long way. When I played him a while back in California, I believe it was like almost a decade ago, man. And from that point on to seeing Jessy where he is today, props to the guy, man. Props to him for all the hard work he's done, and being a number one pick. I think it's no better person, I think, to deserve this top draft honors, because he's an American born who's been putting in the work. He's performed for the team, and now MLC. Going to Seattle Orcas. Can he bring his luck there? He's the only player in MLC to have won 2 titles with 2 separate teams in 2 seasons. So
I think it is. I think he's going to bring it to the Orcas. They did very well in this draft. They did very good with this pick. I think it's going to be great for the lineup. And along with Jessy, 2 other Team USA players join him, in the fold there. We have Stephen Taylor. He gets over there. That's going to be, we speculated who was going to be top of the order for the Orcas. There you go. Taylor, there's your opening batter right there to fill in Quinton de Kock's shoes. He's going to slip right in there next to Rickleton at opening the batting. And then your mate Sai, he's there. Going to be their middle order batter there. Very good for the Orcas. And then, a bunch of names across the draft, a lot from the minor leagues coming into the fold, faces we hadn't seen. So it's good to have these new upcoming players, do well in the minor league, make their way to the MLC. It's good to see.
Absolutely. And we want to know from the viewers, have it up on my screen. Who do you guys think won this major league domestic draft? Drop your thoughts into the comments. As Adam mentioned, that Orcas had the most picks and obviously the biggest budget to spend. So, They made most of these adjustments, by bringing in 4 to 5 domestic players. Steven Taylor, Jasdeep Singh was the number 1 overall. Sajid Nayak is another one, and then Shayan Jahangir. So they scooped up 3 USA players, and I think it's an effort to really change the culture and the DNA of the Seattle Orcas team, Adam, because they're obviously going after these USA international stars, who have done really well in the recent times. So you think that's good investment by the Orcas?
Oh yeah, I mean their team is looking really solid. I mean they almost encapsulate most of Team USA. Now they've got Jessy Singh, they have Shai, they've got Taylor, they got Harmeet Singh, spinner. Who else they got over there? That's from Team USA. I think that could be. I'm sure I'm missing one right now off the top of my head, but I mean that lineup is looking really well, looking really good. We said Quinton de Kock was opening the batting with Rickleton. He's moved on, and he needed someone at top of the order there. Taylor's going to be that person to fill those shoes, and then they got the pace over there. Jesse's going to come in there, be an extra all-rounder because he's considered an all-rounder, probably a bowling all-rounder more than a batting all-rounder, but he's going to be great in there to score some runs. I mean, even Hamid, he's doing well. He batted at 3 the other day. Did you see that? Hamid batted at 3. So I mean, they can both bat. They can both bat. So I mean, in T20 cricket, you can be put in really any position to bat. As long as you're contributing to the total, doesn't really matter where you're coming into the lineup, especially in T20s. So yeah, I think it's good for the Orcas moving around the stadium, moving around the grounds. Like Washington only picked up 1 person. The Texas Super Kings got a couple. San Francisco got a couple. I think the Knight Riders and a couple of them basically rounded out the rest of them. MI New York, I think, picked up a couple as well. So, but yeah, mostly a lot of new names. Mostly new names.
Yeah. I mean, one name to kind of talk about is Agni Chopra. He's an Indian. He's an American-born Indian who's played most of his cricket in India. Averages near 90. Probably wouldn't break through the India's domestic setup, but coming into the draft with good numbers and I think he's probably going to be a player to watch out for the Mumbai Indians side, because he's coming in obviously, from India, playing his cricket over there, and coming over here, he may have some issues or trouble adjusting to the conditions here in the U.S. As we all know, it's a very different place to play cricket. The outfields and as well as the conditions, don't make it as easy, depending on where you're playing as well in the country. But I think he's one guy to watch out for. Then Tajinder Singh, Hunwarjeet Singh, and Sharad Lumba are the 4 picks by Mumbai Indians, New York. So I think MLC, Seattle Orcas clearly won this domestic draft, and right behind them is, I think, Mumbai Indians, New York, leading the way in this domestic draft with some good picks. Who else we had? We had, Knight Riders make 1 pick in Karthik Guttapelli, and Texas Super Kings made a couple of really good picks in Stephen Wig and Adam Khan, who's the youngster out of Florida, I believe. So looking forward to seeing him as well, alongside Sai and Faf du Plessis and the squad in the Texas Super Kings lineup. And then we have Hamad Azam and Achilles Brown coming into the San Francisco Unicorns roster. Shout out to Achilles Brown. He's part of a reverse scoop community. Very talented player, and we're really looking forward to seeing him do some amazing things for the San Francisco Unicorns. And then Washington Freedom with their sole pick, Abhishek Paratkar, was their sole pick. So those were mostly the draft picks. There were 16 picks that were made during this domestic draft.
Yeah, so, and I mean, we were speculating about the international players, and we did figure out this week that some of the international players just left on their own accord. They weren't like really released per se, but Head and Cummins, two of the big names in the league, they just left, their respective teams, the Freedom and San Francisco. They play a lot of cricket. They were in there for the last, maybe I think just last season, maybe before, maybe potentially, but no, they just left on their own accord. They play a lot of cricket, so it's going to kind of, the Australian team is going to probably clash a little bit with the MLC with their trip coming up in the West Indies. I don't know if that clashes with anything over there, but yeah, that's some of the people just leaving. Like De Kock, I think, just left. Yeah. It wasn't like he was sent away or anything like that. So yeah, some of this it'll leave room for more international players to come in. So we should see those soon with the internationals, who they pick up. That would be very interesting to see, who they can get. Because there's a couple of good names that are running around, the world right now that could get picked up. So
I think so too. I mean, it's just going to depend on the budgets of these teams, and what they really need. Now looking at these complete lineups, and if we look at I'm just going to pull up the roster lineups again. Let's say for the Seattle Orcas right now. Right now their 2025 roster: Ayan Desai, Cameron Gannon, Shayan Jahangir, Rahul Jariwala, Aaron Jones, Heinrich Klaassen, Sujith Nayak, Ryan Rickleton, Ali Sheikh, Jasdeep Singh, Harmeet Singh, and Stephen Taylor. So right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Players is what we're seeing here as of the domestic draft. So I think they're gonna fill up these squads with at least 4 to 5 more players, if I'm not mistaken. I think last year squads were close to 20 players.
Yeah, I think some of them. I think they maxed out. I think they maxed out at 19. I think most of them averaged like 17 to 19 players. You were allowed, I think, I want to say 9 international players. Oh no, 7 international players, but you're only allowed to field 5 max. I think was that. Yeah, I think it was 7 allowed in the squad. You could field 5. That was like people like Nyoke and Rambada never actually got starts, even though they were lined up with the MI New York. So you never know who we're going to get. I mean, coming off World Champions Trophy, seeing us up with World Cup, the World Test Championship, and all that, you'll see who ends up being available. I know Australia goes to the West Indies, the 100 starts, the Blast starts, IPL's happening. We'll see who's shakes it after that. You never know who you might get. They might pick up some of these new young Australians that are doing well from the Big Bash. We talked about before the pod, Mitch Owens doing very well. Scored that big century to win the game for the Hurricanes. He just scored another century in the Shield. Yeah. He could get picked up. I mean, that's it's a very good league over there. It's a good competitive league. And if they want to come to the States, I'm sure they'll pay a little penny to come to get them over here. So looks good for MLC. Draft looks good. And soon we'll have the international news, probably closer to March, April, when we know when the international players are doing.
Yeah. I think they have some time, a few months to start building this, this roster and really complete it, because I think that most of these teams have a lot of good pieces, and now it just needs finishing touches to be able to add additional resources in whatever areas that they think they need. So I think once a month or two goes by, we're going to see more news and more pickups coming along for these teams. But the domestic draft was really good. Excited for these young stars to come and shine, on this major league stage and do super well. So, that was, our major league update there with, with Adam and I here. So the next thing we're going to get into tonight,
T20 USA action.
T20 USA action. Yeah. Let's start with women's, let's start with women's. I'll do the update, the media release that came out. February 25th today. USA Cricket is pleased to announce the squad for the upcoming ICC Women's T20 World Cup Americas Qualifier, set to take place in Argentina from March 7th to 18th. This tournament will see USA, Canada, Brazil, and hosts Argentina compete for qualifications to the ICC T20 World Cup Global Qualifier in early 2026. So essentially the team that they've announced is going to be competing for a spot in the qualifier in early 2026 for the T20 World Cup for women's.
Wow.
Yeah. And, it's a young squad, as we know that Sindhu Harsha, the former USA women's team captain, announced her retirement last week. And shout out to Sindhu because she gave an encore interview on this podcast, and we have that episode, being worked on right now by the editor, and we'll drop that episode soon with Sindhu, and she'll be joining us for future episodes as well on the show. To come and do some analysis work and let you guys know more about these women, under 19 women, and as well as the T20 or USA women's team. She knows them personally close and has worked with them. So during this tour, we're gonna also bring on Cindy to do some analysis. So it's gonna be some exciting times. So watch out for that. So let's announce the squad. Now, squad is Anika Colin. So the USA Women Under-19 team captain is also the senior team captain, which is something to note here in the T20 side. Aditi Chudasma, who's the captain of the 50-over side for the USA Women's, is the vice captain. Bhakti Shastri, Gargi Bhogle, Ritu Singh, Disha Dhingra. Shout out to Disha Dhingra. She'll be coming on the Reverse Scoop podcast as well. To give us an interview before she, leaves for this tour. So, look out for that as well in the next coming few weeks. We got Ella Cladridge. I believe she's Canada-based. Chetna Reddy Pagidala, Isani Vagila, Chetna Prasad, Tara Norris, I believe is in UK, if I'm not mistaken. Sanvi Madi, and Mahi Madwan. And then the reserves is Pooja Ganesh, Lekha Shetty, and Giovanna Arras. So that's the media release update on the USA women, squad for the qualifier for the T20 there. World Cup. Yeah. Solid team.
You said Ritu Singh in there, right?
Ritu Singh is in here, yeah. Ritu Singh, Anika Colin, Aditi Chudasma, Gargi Bhogle, Disha Dhingra, Chetna Pagidala. These are some of the youngest players that we have, and very talented, and some of them were part of the under-19 squad as well. So they've are doing well in their setup, and looking forward to seeing their good performances out of them. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, by the way, to ask some of these younger stars, drop them in the comments, because we're going to be having some interviews coming up with some of these under-19 players. So we would love to have some fan questions that you guys would want answered. So if you guys want to drop them in the comments, we'll bring them up in our interview episodes. So you could do that, as we get through this episode. So anything else to add there, Adam, besides for the USA women's?
That's about it. I mean, they got to beat Argentina to get through. And I mean, that's what you got to do. We're in that cycle of teams. That's kind of like outside the regular ICC pool. But I mean, we had some teams out of the woodwork there for the Under-19 World Cup. So those teams are all making their way through to the big leagues. And, USA can be there. I mean, we can beat Argentina. We can be there.
We can beat Brazil. We can beat Argentina, and we can beat Canada, I think. So it should be.
Once we get there, I mean, the gap, obviously, between Australia women's and the rest of the world is obviously, and Indian women's is pretty significant. I mean, it's a pretty big gap between Australia, India, and then whoever's next. But I mean, getting there is obviously impressive. A lot of experience, and anything can happen in T20 cricket. It's only 20 overs, just 10 wickets away. You're always just 10 wickets away. One brings two. One brings two.
You never know, man. Cricket's a funny game. We played it for long enough.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of low scores, I mean, we're gonna switch over now to the men's T20. I believe it was in their ODI. They got rolled for the lowest score. They defended the lowest score ever from a first innings total. So I watched this game, and I still don't understand. I could only watch the highlights. I haven't seen the whole game. The highlights are nuts. It's like watching the wickets go down, the runs go nowhere, and then the overs just fly by. I'm like, what is happening? I want to know what happened in between these balls, because and this is the game that Harmeet Singh batted at 3. USA get rolled for 122, and then in reply they bowl them out for like, what is it, 70 or something? I think that was with the last game of the ODIs.
65.
And then 65. And then we roll into the T20s, and USA been crushing it. T20s, crushing it, right? We crushed them.
Yeah, in the first game, they chased 194 against Oman. The first and the second one against Oman, they chased 142. And then the third one, they chased 123. So,
wow.
That's second. They chased it all 3 of those games.
That's second.
Yeah, and different totals. They chased a higher total in the first T20. With 190, and then a mid score at 142, and then a 127. And pitches we know are not as great as you might find in other facilities. I would think Oman has had spinning tracks and some difficult tracks to play. Seen by that 122 all-out game right in the ODI, and Oman were balled out for 65. So, and no fast bowlers were used. It was all spinners.
Well, I watched some of those wickets. Some of those wickets were just, I don't know what was going on. I don't know what was going on. It was just one of those days. One bring 2, 2 bring 3. It was one of those days. It was one of those days. I think Andreas Gauss caught in front LBW was just like, I don't know if it was, what they were expecting there with a spin, like if they were just sliding on a little more or not turning or turning a little more than expected. But it was all happening. It was edges everywhere, LBW appeals everywhere. It was happening. It was very much, because I'm big on you either get yourself out or the bowler gets you out. And it was very much a case of the bowler was doing the work. Bowling was getting the job done. They weren't even getting themselves out. It was good pills, hitting them with good balls.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think they did super well. Props to them, and we're dominating, man. We're dominating in the World Cricket League 2. We're dominating in the T20s. So hope is that we continue to go down that path and continue to play against better teams. Hopefully, we can set up some major bilateral series and tours for these USA men's. So we can play and compete against better and better teams, because I think that's the only way for us to improve as a cricket nation, right? Is to obviously play better countries. And we've talked about this before. We can leverage West Indies and across the border, right? And try nation series is maybe perhaps we can get somebody involved with. So there's ideas there. Now we just need to execute on them and make sure we get some bilateral series is going and make that happen every year. And play as many games as possible at the top level.
I think it'll come. We're going to get through this through this World Cup pool here. We've already qualified for T20 because we made the Super 8 in the last World Cup for T20. So we'll go through on that one, and then it's just making sure we stay top of the table for the CWC, which we will, and then once we get to that next stage, it's about beating Ireland, Bangladesh, West Indies, and whoever else is in that pool with us. So we're moving on. We're going to be moving on up.
Absolutely, man. And
so what we got next? We're moving a little bit of Champions Trophy chat, a little bit of Kohli, a little bit of Australia, England, a little bit of what's coming up next. In the chat, we have expected rain tomorrow. We don't want expected rain tomorrow. We don't want expected rain. We want matches. Because rain today has blown the whole thing up.
Things up. Yeah, blew things wide open.
Like no one's bingo card had rain on it. No one had a draw in their bingo card. Group B, I don't think anyone, if I want to go back and see the tape, if anyone actually picked Group B top to bottom, because it's hard to pick this group. We don't know what's going to go on. Afghanistan play England. Then we have Afghanistan versus Australia. If it rains out tomorrow, that basically blows England's chances and Afghanistan's chances, and Australia will go through. If it doesn't rain, England has to win to stay alive, and Afghanistan has to win to stay alive. And then Australia versus England. If England, get knocked out if Afghanistan win, and Australia will go through if they win. And then it's another dead game at the end there. South Africa will go through.
Yeah, it's literally the entire tournament now is down to 3 matches.
Yeah. Well, actually, thinking about it right
down
now,
to literally 3 matches. 2 of them are useless.
England could ruin the party. Like, let's think out this scenario, right? Afghanistan beat England, right? Afghanistan go up a point. Let's say Australia beat Afghanistan. Okay.
Yeah.
But then England beat South Africa. Then it's going to be net run rate between Afghanistan, England, and South Africa because they would all have they might have a draw and a win. It's going to be a weird situation because South Africa have 1 win, 1 draw. And if they lose to England, then they'll have 1 win, 1 loss, 1 draw. So would Afghanistan need to have a win? It would just be weird. Be weird as heck. Anything could happen in that pool. Anything could happen. the other pool is locked and loaded. It's India,
man.
New Zealand.
Pakistan and Bangladesh are already out. So, we kind of expected that, but it's a tough pill to swallow for me as a Pakistani, born and just seeing that team be so bad. It sucks, man. Sucks. But, I think it's a good thing. Maybe something changes after this. Who knows?
I don't know.
Those two guys are out.
Do you know who won the toss in that game? Do you know who won the toss? India, Pakistan. Who won the toss?
Pakistan. India won the toss.
Okay, so that's it. That's fine. So, really at this point, you've seen all chasing teams win. And even with England, we're going to get to England, Australia. Chasing teams won because we haven't seen a lot of ODI cricket for a while, but it really shows that the starting team has to establish a foundation and then go on from there. You have to go 25, 30 overs, 2, 3, 4 down max. But we're having these situations where the batting team goes 6, 7 down at halfway point. They don't have enough legs to get all the way to the end. Maybe someone hangs in, gets 100. There's been 6 or 700s, I think, so far in the tournament. And another one for New Zealand just yesterday. And, it just goes to show that Australia really put together multiple partnerships. They lost 2 wickets early. Then Short and Labuschagne, even though they were batting really slow, stuck it out for a few overs. They put a good partnership together. Then Short gets out. Then Labuschagne gets out. And at that point, they were 80%, 88% to lose that game. And Carey and Ingles, who I've been talking about this for weeks, they're both good batters and they should be there on their batting, not just their keeping, put on 130 runs and brought the game back into Australia's favor. But, it really comes down to England just botched that game completely. I have never seen in my life 4 behind square. In what universe, when you're allowed 5 out of the circle in the final 10, do you put 4 behind square? Who does that? In what cricket?
It must have been the line of attack that the bowler was probably looking to bowl, right?
But that's what I'm saying. Why is that their only strategy was to bowl short? They didn't even bowl short. They bowled Maxwell came out. Maxwell went 30 off 9 balls. There was nobody down the ground. There was no mid-on. There was no deep mid-on, no deep mid-off, no deep cover, no deep mid-wicket. So, literally, he just teed off over the infield, just teed off. As soon as the ball was anywhere up, he hit it off. Yeah. And then when Carey was on strike, when Ingles was on strike, the boundaries are 70 meters. They're tiny. They're bigger down here. Cloud Valley has bigger boundaries. So, they were bowling short, and he hit 2 sixes off his hip, off chest high, just around the corner for 6.
Wow!
You don't need to have someone down there if you're going to bowl short. It was terrible captaincy, terrible execution of bowling. They got slapped around the park, and Archer dropped a catch in the deep, dropped Carey. It was a turning point in the game. It could have really changed the outcome a little bit, but poor bowling, poor captaincy, poor field. You're never going to see that again.
Guess who Herschel Gibbs blamed though?
Who?
Ben Duckett. he said Ben Duckett played. He said Ben Duckett played too slow.
Oh my god!
What do you think of that?
They were talking about how Root and that should have gone on with it at the end, and they limped to 350, whatever. They should have got 370. Everyone was like they should have got 370, and I'm like, no, you just shouldn't have 4 people behind square when you're trying to defend a total. They just didn't attack. They had to go as soon as Labuschagne gets out. They're 4 down. Okay, they're 4 down for 100 and change. That pressure should have come on. Bring inside the circle. Bring in close fielders. Give away no singles. turn the heat up. There was still 200 plus away from winning the game. They had to get aggressive, add a slip, add tight fielders, like don't have too many people out in the boundary, bring them in tight, restrict the singles. But Carey and Ingles were allowed to rotate the strike. They just rotated the strike. They hit singles for 30 overs. It was 30 overs of singles. And then all of a sudden they started to bowl short for the final 10. Bang, 4, bang, 6.
They took advantage of it when they got tired. It's like when the chips are down for the bowlers and the leverage is there for the batters, they can take higher risks. So they just played the game perfectly, I think. Inglis and
England let them off the hook. England just poor captaincy, that should have been tightened up as soon as that wicket went down from Labuschagne. Bring everyone in, bring a slip in, bowl that nice channel, and then go back to that like classic, test match style where it's like you put the pressure on, you're trying to get wickets, you're being aggressive with your field. Yeah. At that point, if they had started scoring lots of runs, it wouldn't have mattered because you're trying for that wicket. All you needed was to get that one wicket. You needed one wicket and then it was over. Nope, didn't happen. Nope, they chased down the biggest total in a ICC tournament. The absolute joke. I mean, technically think England beat England. Everyone's on about how Ingles was born in the UK. England beat England. I mean, Australia was never going to beat England, so they needed someone.
Yeah. No, I know your frustration, man. I know your frustration with your copyright battle with Cricket Australia. So
worse than that. My thing is bad strategy. I can't stand bad cricket strategy. I can't stand putting a game plan together that makes absolutely no sense. Like, in what world? Like, even under 10s, when you're playing under 10s, your under 10s captain knows you need a deep mid on. Like, you need a deep mid on. You need a deep mid off, somewhere in those final overs. Like, don't bowl down leg side. Like, if you don't bowl down leg side, then you don't need a fine leg. I mean, obviously, the ramp is something that's new to this game. But, like, make him hit a ramp. Make him come outside the off stump and ramp him. You know what I mean? Like, just doesn't make any sense. So England deserved to lose. Australia are going to go through. Well, hopefully they get beat.
Well, I mean, no, it's still wide open, man. That group is wide open. So, let us know in the comment what's your guys' prediction. Who's making it from, that first group? Will it be South Africa, Australia, England, and Afghanistan? Which two teams will make it? Let's bring up some comments. We've got some comments from Imran Hussein coming up. First comment, what's your guys' prediction for tomorrow's Afghanistan versus England knockout match? Adam, who are you going with, man?
Afghanistan.
He's going with Afghanistan. I think England's gonna come here through in this match. And dude, I mean, Mark Wood was looking good. I don't know if you saw Mark Wood, man. He was bowling heat rocks.
I've got who's the top of the order? Azim. Who's the guy that opens the batting for Afghanistan? What's his name?
Oh, Shahidi? Is it Shahidi or is it?
No, I forget his name.
Gurbaz.
Gurbaz. Yeah, I have Gurbaz smashing a billion over square leg. That's what I have.
Yeah,
I've got England bowling nothing but short. They're just going to bowl half trackers the whole time, and Afghanistan is going to know that because they're going to watch the pod right here. Afghanistan, watch the pod.
Yeah,
England's going to bowl short the entire time, and all Afghanistan going to do is rock on that back foot and bang, 6 over the fence. Like, it's a small boundary. That's all they're going to do. Yeah. Now, will Afghanistan know to do that? Will they have enough practice with the short stuff? I don't know, but that's what they're going to do.
I mean, England's probably got the upper hand, but I think Afghanistan, it's their conditions, and with the spinners that they possess, they don't have Mujibur Rahman, I don't think, in the squad, but their spinners, Noor Ahmed and Rashid Khan and another youngster they have. I think it's going to be a handful, and Nabi as well. Nabi, so he's an experienced campaigner. Yeah. On these pitches in subcontinent, man. I mean, they could have an edge with these guys, but England thing is still probably too good.
Not a chance.
So give them a slight edge. I think I would.
England's plan was 3 pace attack. Like, why are we going 3 pace attack? Why are we bowling pace attack? Like, what's his name? The spinner for
Rashid
England.
Rashid Ali.
Rashid went.
Adil Rashid.
Adil Rashid. I think he went 10 overs, 2 wickets for 47 or something like that. Yeah. He was like less than 5 and over, took some wickets, and they were hard to hit him around the park. And everyone else, all the pace blokes, went for like 60, 70, 80 runs. I think he ended up going for 88 runs. Yeah. Like, absolute joke. Like, where's your other spinner? Where's your other decent spinner? Like, why don't you have like another full-time spinner bowling for you? That's
the big mistake that Pakistan made as well, you know, because Pakistan only took one specialist spinner in Abrar Ahmed, and
joke.
You know, they brought in Khujdil Shah, who's a batting all-rounder who can bowl some spin, and then Salman Agha, who's a batter who can bowl some spin. So you can't rely on, you know, bits and pieces cricketers. When it comes to these big tournaments, you need specialists in fast bowling and spin, and specialist batsmen, especially in 50-over cricket. So, you know, the squad was kind of all over the place, you know, when it came to that. But
I'm big on two leggies. I'm big on you need two leggies. I mean, bring me back to
offie, man. Leggy, offie, a left arm. You know, you get two of those guys, combination any which way. You know,
but like
you're solid.
Yeah, if you're having you can have a right-handed leg spinner and a left-hand leg spinner. Like think about Brad Hogg, that played for Australia, great left arm Chinaman. But then you speak of the days like sometimes you have Warney and McGill. Like imagine having two leg spinners from both ends. Like you're done. You're toast.
Yeah.
Like pack it in. Don't even bother. Just put your bat under your arm and just walk back to the pavilion. Like you need to have that. Like I feel like leg spin is way more difficult than off spin. Obviously, depending on what hand you have. But if you're a right-handed batter, I think that leg spin's way more difficult to face.
Absolutely, man. But it's a harder skill to execute and
no. But find yourself some good leg spinners. The young kids out there, go learn leg spin. Learn leg spin.
Yeah.
Go watch some Shane Warne.
Absolutely. Let's come to Coach Adam Bannon clinic, you know, and we'll teach you some leg spin.
I'll show you how to do those leggies. My wrongins aren't as good as they should be, but
yeah. No, you're too kind, man. You know, you've got all three variations. Very solid, man. Very solid. You know.
If Bangladesh beats New Zealand yesterday, that could have made for a fun semi. If Bangladesh had beaten. Yeah, Bangladesh weren't.
Didn't happen. That wasn't going to happen. Bangladesh's players never show up in the ICC tournaments, so they should probably, look to.
It wasn't like
have some good fast
bowlers,
man.
Bad.
But their batter. No, they didn't do bad, but I think they rely heavily on their fast bowlers. Their batsmen just never show up. Their captain did well, Shanto, but besides that, I mean, you know, Mushfiq, Mamadullah, a couple other guys that have been there for years, or never show up in these big stages. So, time to move on from all of them, man, and make some big changes in Bangladesh cricket. So, next comment, Imran Hussein's on fire here, man. Imran, sending us some love here with all the comments, because we all know Pakistan can beat Bangladesh. Yeah, but now it doesn't matter. It's probably the only win that Pakistan may get, or even Bangladesh. If they may beat Pakistan, that's how bad they are.
Whoever bats first loses. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
doesn't matter. If Pakistan bat first, they lose.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bangladesh probably will beat Pakistan here too, because they have more spinners than Pakistan.
Hot take.
Right there. Yeah, hot take right there, because Pakistan only have one spinner, man. One spinner's not gonna, cut it, specialist. So Bangladesh with more spinners and more variety in their attack, I think they have an upper edge with their bowling. So their batting is essentially the same, you can say. Maybe Pakistan has a slight upper hand on the batting, but that's that. The spin bowler who helped Afghanistan in 2023, not in the squad, so that is a major blow for Afghanistan tomorrow. Yes, that's right. He's Mujibur Rahman, one of their best spinners. I don't think he's in the squad. Afghanistan specialist fast bowler, retired from One Day International. Sure, I don't know who you're talking about there. Drop their name in the comments. Do you see the article? I think BBC said that Pakistan versus India might not be the biggest rivalry in sports anymore. Yeah, I mean, if Pakistan continues to lose at every ICC event, it's not a rivalry anymore.
No. They got, according to some of the sources in my chat, I predicted 500 million. I had anywhere from 600 million to 1.5 billion people tuning into that game. That's what I got in the chat. I don't know if that's official, if we got any official numbers yet, but it's still the biggest numbers wise. I know they fix every tournament to make sure that they play together. I mean, it's a shame that you go back to the 90s, 2000s, like the playoffs between them are insane. Like those 90s, 2000, early 2000s teams for both India and Pakistan were just nuts. Yeah. Like, you're watching Shah Bakhtar versus Tendulkar. Like you're watching, it's just different. It's different now, and that's going to,
absolutely.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What were you saying?
I was going to say it's going to flow into this next topic we're going to talk about, because Kohli brings up 14,000 runs. And, I said before the podcast that those 90s, 2000s time period, I will die on the hill. That was a harder time to play cricket than it is now. Like that was a tougher period of cricket than it is now. I feel like now it's not as tough as back then. Let me know in the chat if you disagree, but I'm going to
back in the 90s. You mean late 90s?
Oh yeah. Late 90s. Like, let's just look at this. Let's just look at the teams, right? if you're playing Australia, okay, if you're any other team, you're England, you're Pakistan, you're South Africa, whatever, England, India, you're playing the best team ever. Like the best team ever was that 90s, 2000s Australian team. Steve Waugh, Ricky Ponting, Mark Waugh, Hayden, Langer, like they're all in the top 10, top 15 batters of all time in that team. Yeah. Then you got the bowlers. You got McGrath, Warren, Gillespie. They're all top 20 bowlers of all time ever. Okay, that whole team is legit. It doesn't matter if it's test team or the ODI team, because the ODI team you got Bevan, you got Simons, you got these extra players that play just specifically ODI cricket. The best some of the best across the land, or best ever to do it. Nowadays, like when you cross it, like not everyone in that Australian team is going to ever hit the top 20 batters, bowlers, fielders of all time. Like Smith, exception. Warner, he's gone. Cummins, Stark, Hazelwood, they're making their way up there into that top 10 bowlings of all time. But that's more an attrition than that's more just like time in the game than anything. You know what I mean? Like Dale Steyn, he's probably arguably the greatest bowler to do it, but he just didn't bowl enough. He just didn't bowl enough. Like he has one of the best strike rates of all time, didn't bowl enough. You know what I mean? And like that was the era, like, you know what I mean? Like Jock Callis. That was he was, how many bazillion runs he get? How many bazillion wickets did he get? 300 wickets plus a bazillion runs. Ricky Ponting was just saying he was the best ever cricketer, period.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, it's if you guys want bigger breakdown on your rankings and who's better and who's not, go to the reverse scoop on the channel and go check out the rankings.
Wow,
you'll get the idea of what I'm thinking, because I've broken it down with some eras, right? Like 1989 to 2024, for example. In that era, I ranked Steyn as the top best player to come out. I mean, but I didn't include guys like Malcolm Marshall in there, who retired in 1991, so they only had 2 years in that era. But from the 70s,
that's a different era. Yeah,
exactly. From the 70s to the 90s would be one era, where I would have these guys, ranked, but I'm not there yet with those rankings. But check out the 1989 to 2024 ones. You guys will, get some good insights, on what Adam's talking about, with their numbers and everything. So, we got more comments coming in. As a former Pakistan cricketer said, if you want to wake up Virat Kohli, tell him he's playing against Pakistan. I think he's right. He probably, should have played them a lot more, just to keep his form. And I think him and a couple other guys, are like that. They just have the switch on against Pakistan. But he's a beast. He's a legend.
Here's the thing about Virat Kohli's 100 just now. Again, I'm going to harp back on this. If you don't post enough runs in the first innings in an ODI, the team batting second can just cruise. Like they literally know it's 5 runs and over. Like they were less than 5 runs and over from the get-go. So literally they're just like, their mindset from the start is just knock the ball around. No aggressive shots, no balls in the air. Like literally he was just like, it was just batting practice. It was just batting practice. If you don't have to go more than run a ball, when you go out to the middle, it's just batting practice. Yeah. Wait for the good ball. Hit the bad ball. You know what I mean? Let the ball go.
Just the merit, understanding merit. That's all it is. You understand merit and then you play on merit. So,
and then, I mean, like you get those jaffers like Shahid Afridi, like just absolutely jaffed Sharma, like absolute pill. Like best Yorker you're going to see in a long time. That was a stock style Yorker. perfect Yorker. Like, you're going to get that. But if you don't get that, that's 1 out of 300 balls. You know, you have to, if you're going to bowl out a team that if you posted a total less than 300, you got to put up like 10 absolute jaffers to get them out. You can't just rely on the batter to get themselves out.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. And we got another comment coming in. We got Daryl joining. Daryl, shout out to Daryl. Shout out to Kingsman 11. That also plays in New York National League. He's one of my, close friends and, got a solid squad of Kingsman 11 roster up in New York. So
this comment check out his pages. Is clutch.
Yeah.
This comment right here is clutch. Right here. Read what he said right there.
Yeah. So Daryl saying technology changed the game. You can study your opponents even more than the 90s. Absolutely. The data analytics. Yeah. Data, AI, the speed of analysis, during the matches, after the matches, and then, the homework that needs to be done on it by the players to study and then make their adjustments. Based on the matchups, you'd know that you're facing certain bowlers and you may have particular weaknesses in some areas where, those bowlers might be good. Then you go back to the drawing board and make those adjustments, right? So the game has come a long way when it comes to really drilling down a focus of, where your technical flaws are when it comes to facing particular matchups, and then you training for those matchups and really seeing who comes out on top. Right. So it's become a very fast paced, learning process where you have to get to know your opponents, very quickly and learn about them, playing at the international level, obviously. So great point there by Daryl.
Here's something else for the technology here's something else that's very key for the technology, which is, I'm glad you brought this up, Daryl. Thank you for this. Think about this. Pre-90s or pre-2000s, no Hawkeye, no hotspot. Like, think about how many LBWs get reversed in the batter's favor. Back in the day, that wasn't the case. You were just giving out. You were giving out. There was no second chance. There's a second chance now. So some of those 100s, some of those 50s, some of those big scores would have never been scored in this current era because we have the technology to reverse the umpire decision. Part of the game in pre-90s or 90s era, 80s back in the day era was if the umpire gave you out, you're out.
Yeah.
Like, and there's very clear, like, even like Tendulkar, I think, was one of the big ones here. He was classically given out a lot when he wasn't supposed to be given out. And that fixes his record. Like, it ruins his record. Like, he could have had a better record. Imagine if Sachin Tendulkar had the Snicker review, hotspot review in his day. He probably would have made another 10,000 runs, 5,000 runs. You know what I mean? Like,
but it went the other way too. It went the other way for a lot of the bowlers as well. Guys like Wasim Akram who, had so many wickets turned down because of, just plum calls not being given. And we all know, back in the 70s, 80s, even early 90s, umpiring was quite biased. And up until our level and standards started to evolve and adapt, from the umpiring associations and to the standards and the ICC panel, by the 2000s, it had developed into a better system. But before that, we had seen a lot of, bias from the umps, during, even until mid 90s, I would say. We remember famously, what's his name? Muralidharan, was called, and there was a big debate, in that test match by Daryl Hare. There was a couple other things that happened, which led to change of rules in ICC, that 15-degree bent angle that they introduced after that, with Muralidharan and Shoaib Akhtar and now, Bumrah being also part of that same kind of category, right? So that's why, that elbow thing and everything kind of started coming into play, and the umpiring came a long way. But, a lot of the bowlers and the batters, it went both ways. The decisions were missed on either end, but it's good. I'm glad it's better now, at least. At least we get fair calls, fair decisions most of the time. There's still some things that need adjusting, but it's still pretty decent. Something we all can work with.
Yeah, it's pretty rare that you get a call that's like a real, like, that was a huge mistake. I mean, the only thing I can think of is where if you blow your reviews, like, I think that happened in the Ashes, the recent Ashes. They blew their reviews and they couldn't review they couldn't review something when they needed it. You know, they didn't think they might need it reviews. So they took that last review a little too early, and then they needed it.
Yeah.
And they didn't get it. So
yeah, no, absolutely, man. So Kohli joins Tendulkar and Sangakkara in the 14K club in the ODI. Big achievement by this legendary player. But the debate here is Kohli better than a Tendulkar or a Sangakkara?
No.
Again, Adams had mentioned that the times were different. We were playing in a much higher quality, I think, back in 90s and early 2000s. The quality's come down a bit in cricket, I think, because of the obvious extension of T20 cricket and the skill sets kind of becoming short spanned. So players are losing long format focus. Test cricket is not finishing in 3 days. Like at good 60-70% of the time, you'll see test matches be done in 3-4 days, right? So it shows that skill level of players being able to even get through a test match is not there. It's very fast paced. Just go out there, boom, 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 playing short phases. You have a particular role, especially in a T20 team. If you're opening in the top 6 overs, your job is to go out there, whack it, get quick, 20 ball, 40, 50, and then, let the middle order guys from 9 to 15 overs do the job. And then your finishers come and do, the cleaning up in the last 5 overs. So it's become a very, process oriented and a skill oriented, cricket now than an overall, awareness of the game. Do you agree there, Adam?
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of summed it up on the spot right there,
Yeah.
And I'll be like, go back to look at those 3 names you put up there. 2 of them played in the same era, 1 didn't play in the same era. It's like one of those things, like I said, how much time did Virat Kohli play against Shane Warne? How much time did he play against McGrath? How much time did he play against some of these, players that are like up there in the terms of all-time great, bowlers that he didn't get to really see. He didn't really see those bowlers.
Yeah.
Whereas Tendulkar and Sangakkara played against the best of all time.
Exactly. No, exactly. In all conditions. And, I feel that Tendulkar and Senga were just, class above, man. Class above.
Well, the thing about bat technology.
Yeah.
Bat technology was different back then. Like the bats nowadays are so big. They're huge.
Yeah.
Like it's unbelievable how big the bats are. Those bats weren't that big back in those days.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. So we got more comments. Let's get through the comments more. Virat Kohli's weakness is outside leg. Pakistan do not know that. I thought it was outside the off stump where he lost all of his wickets for about 2 years. Sure. For about 2 years, right? He was just nicking outside off stump.
Couldn't buy a cover drive.
Couldn't buy a cover drive to save his life. So, we're going to continue with the comments. If Pakistan did pick Zaman Khan, they might have reached the semifinals. I don't know about that, but he's a bowler that I like. I like Zaman Khan. He's, very good for T20 and white ball cricket. I think death bowler, you need a closer. You look at modern day cricket, he's somebody who's got to be in there. In baseball terms, as you said, he can be like the Mariano Rivera of Pakistan cricket and come in and close those, last minute, matches. But the mindset is not like that in cricket out there. So they don't, think outside the box to actually have, these death rolls be so specialized where they can use a guy like Zaman Khan and his skill. He's a very skillful bowler, in my opinion. And then we've got Daryl again. Yeah, we got Daryl again, West Indian umpire Steve Buckner.
Yeah,
faced backlash for 2 critical errors against Sachin Tendulkar during test matches in 2003 and 2005, leading to widespread criticism. Buckner later acknowledged his mistakes, recognizing the pressure on umpires and their susceptibility to human. Absolutely right.
Nailed it.
Yeah, we were actually talking about this off air, Adam and I, before the pod. It's funny that Daryl brought this up.
Love it, Daryl.
Yeah, Daryl's on fire, man. I was talking, if you're still on, we were talking earlier about, Steve Buckner coming to umpire one of New Milford Cricket Club's games and how the team needed like 10 runs and they had 6 wickets in hand with 3 overs to go. And they kind of had a collapse. The situation came down to 1 ball, 1 run, and the last wicket, one of our spinners bowled the ball and, balls going down leg. I think I was on mid off. I saw the ball turning down leg, but Steve Buckner, as always, takes his time. It seemed like a long 2 seconds, and he raised that dreaded finger and for the batsman, and we won the match. We were the fielding side, so wow. It was something, man. And I got a bit of a nostalgia at that time, Daryl's mentioning here with these decisions. But he's a good guy, good gentleman, lives out in New York, does a lot of umpiring, I think, out in New York National League and Commonwealth Cricket League. As well as other leagues around the Northeast area. So he's a good dude. Hopefully he's doing well. He's healthy, and they're doing good. So Steve Buckner, if you want to come on the pod, man, reach out to us and get you on the pod sometime soon to answer some of these questions for you. Let's keep on going with the comments. Got a lot of comments coming in because we saw how he did in the local tournament in Pakistan. I was keeping up with the majority of it. Zaman Khan he's talking about, and there's some very good talent in Pakistan, better than professionals. I can agree with that totally. I went to Pakistan a couple of months ago, played with Kashmir Fighters Cricket Club. The talent that's out in Karachi and everywhere, just insane talent, man. And the guys that are playing for the team, much better players, are out in their domestic and even in their second grade cricket. They just need exposure. They need money to get in through the system. And at every level, there's corruption. So not easy to get through the chains in Pakistan.
There's just a gate in every level. Doesn't matter what country you're in. Like it's more about who you know than how good you are. It's about who you know. Like there are great players playing all across the world,
and there's a troll sitting at every gate. A troll's asking for more and more and more money. The next gate you go to is just going to be a higher thing. The most talented players I talk to, right? Some of the guys I played with score hundreds every day, and these guys said, man, I don't have money to pay these guys. What am I supposed to do? That's my problem. It's not the talent. It's not the skill. It's not that I can't go travel and play and put in the work. It's literally just, you have to pay these guys. So,
and I mean, the way those pathways work, pathways work is you get scouted at 14, 15, 16. And it's that's the age where they decide you're going to play for your country. And then they work them through the academy system that way. Like some people just develop later. And they're just phenomenal batters. Like they don't really hit their stride till their mid-20s. And then, you've got a guy playing second grade or first grade cricket, scoring plenty of runs, 1,000 runs a season. They don't go anywhere because they weren't picked from a young age to be the next best thing. But problem with these young kids getting picked from a young age is if you're not developing them properly, they can get a lot of injuries. Your body isn't fully developed at 15. So if you're bowling a mega fast, you're trying to get extra pace, you're going to break your back. You're going to break something. You're going to have it. Like Pat Cummins was 18 when he started playing for Australia. And then after one game, he had to sit out for the next almost 2 years because he broke his back. Where you have Mitchell Starc, who didn't start bowling fast till he was in his 20s and has basically been injury-free because his body was fully developed before he started really bowling quick. So
yeah, no, it's absolutely knowing the basics and knowing, these, things and being guided, right, well enough. And Pakistan cricket, I can talk about, where more players are destroyed than made, and we've seen that over the years where good talent from the under 19 levels have, emerged, but never really, materialized or fulfilled their potential because of just having, such a dreaded system where the pathway wasn't, made easily for them to cross. And, so a lot of those guys just gave up and a lot of the talent was just thrown out of the system essentially, through that thing. So kind of sucks, but, it's there in every, I think, cricket board, but I think in Pakistan more so than others. It's really, really deep-rooted corruption out there, man. So Daryl's got another comment. He was known for the death nod before he gave the finger. He sure was. I remember that if Gauss did go deep in America versus South Africa, America could have beat them last year.
Oh, this is my best take ever. This is my No, it wasn't that. They conned the take is okay. Gauss did go deep. What happened here against this game, if you replay it back, I will never forget this game. This is the highlight of my 2024. Harmeet Singh gets caught on the boundary, going to hit that 6. If that ball just goes 6 inches higher, a little bit higher over that head. If Harmeet Singh goes for 6, we win that game. I mean, Harmeet Singh and Gauss were just going on those 2 6s that Gauss hit back to back in that over against the spinner. I don't know who that spinner is for South Africa. I forget his name. All I remember, he sent it out of the stadium. It's going for 6. Get over the fence. We're coming for him. We're coming for South Africa. That's like the best. I love that moment so much. But Gauss was crushing it.
And he sure was, man.
With him, we were just got caught on the boundary, man. It was so close, so close.
It was close.
Yeah.
Imran Hussain's asking, will you be attending any of the West Indies games in Florida? We may. I don't know if there's any bilateral series planned with USA and West Indies this year. Is there anything coming up?
Well, the West Indies are playing Australia, so I don't know if the game's in Florida or not. But I know Australia plays the West Indies pretty soon. But no, I will not be attending any of these events. As we know, we'll not be attending any Australia events. I'll be attending everything else other than Australia. Speaking of Australia, shout out in the chat. We got WCG Backyard Cricket in the chat, guys. If you don't follow WCG Backyard Cricket, they have the most insane backyard cricket setup you've ever seen. Manicured pitch in the backyard. They have insane
videos.
It's classic Australia right there. Just everything you want to see in a backyard cricket pitch in Australia. Definitely gonna give them a follow. Hilarious. We gotta get one of those pitches. I gotta make one of those pitches.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Let's make a content video out of this.
Considering I work in the greenskeeping industry, like that's what I do. I manicure golf greens. Like I know people that can grow grass. Like we can make this happen. You guys a roller over there at Cloud Valley. Like it's not far fetched to make this happen.
I don't think so too, man. Let's
find someone's backyard. Who's in need of their backyard for us to build a cricket?
We need a flat backyard. Maybe Jabba already has a pitch there, but he has a nice flat area too where we can probably make one, and he'd probably be good with it.
There you go.
So
backyard
maybe we get him on board.
Right.
Hey Jabba, if you're watching, we're gonna make a pitch in your backyard.
I'm bringing an excavator. Oh man.
Hey, how do you think the USA women's team will do in the upcoming tour? We talked about this a little bit earlier, Daryl. I think he's gonna I think it's gonna do well against Canada, Brazil, and Argentina. I mean, I think our girls are much better than all 3 of those teams. So I don't see why not. They could win and qualify for the qualifier in 2026. So good luck to the girls, good luck to the T20 women's squad that's traveling this Friday, I believe. And we've got Disha Dhingra coming onto the pod to do an interview before that. So if you guys have any questions for Disha, for any other under 19 players, drop them into the comments, and we're gonna start to come up with a segment where we're gonna line up a lot of these under 19 USA women players to start interviewing. Or next interview will come out with Sindhu Harsha, which we've already recorded. As soon as we're done editing it, we're gonna drop it by the end of this week. So tune in, look out for that interview. But I think the women's will do well. Daryl, more comments coming in. We will be playing Pakistan in Florida. Interesting. I don't know Pakistan. Well, I mean, they haven't decided that yet. There was the tri-series thing being thrown out, but nothing official yet, Imran, because we will be finishing 2025 playing again Pakistan. West Indies will be going over to India in October to play Test cricket. Okay, good to know. Before we play against Australia, we will be going to England and Ireland. Okay, I think he's talking about Pakistan. So good to know, man. Good to know. Thanks for all the comments and any questions you guys have. Again, drop them in the chat. We're comments, concerns. We're going over all the viewers' comments right now. If you guys want to add your input regarding anything we've discussed tonight, we've gone over a lot of things. MLC draft winners and losers. Jessy Singh being the top draft pick in this year's domestic draft. USA women's T20 squad. Virat Kohli 14K runs in ODI cricket. Australia's record-breaking chase against England. Pakistan, West and Bangladesh already being out of the tournament. Champions Trophy. USA winning big against Oman, the 3 T20 internationals. The last thing I wanted to kind of bring up is the New York National League Cricket League. This is some local news. That New York National Cricket League has announced a new umpires association, which I think will be a game changer for local cricket in New York, to upgrade the standards of umpiring across the board. So a great initiative there, that we had forgot to bring up in the conversation. And I think that's what we had for tonight's episode, Adam. Do you have anything else, man?
That's it.
You want to add?
No, just Champions Trophy. Let's pray for no rain tomorrow. Let's go Afghanistan. Let's get that Afghan AFG in the chat. Let's go Afghanistan. Afghan to beat England. Afghan to beat Australia. England, South Africa will probably beat England. It's going to be South Africa and Afghanistan going through. Is that world champion? Is that world champ? Is that WTC? That's not the World Test Championship.
That's WC. Yeah, that's what WTC prediction.
World Test Championship. We are going all in on South Africa. We're going all in on South Africa. We're dialed in on South Africa.
I knew you weren't going to go Australia.
Dialed in. Australia, no chance. Not a chance. No chance in the world. Dialed in on South Africa. I want Rickleton's going to score 9,000 runs. He's going to break. Rickleton will break the all-time Test batting score. He's going to score 400. Rickleton's going to score 400. They're going to bat for 2 whole days. They're going to put 700 on the board against Australia. And then Australia's going to have just nothing left in the tank. They'll be rolled in a day. It'll all be over end of day 3. End of day 3.
Yeah, they'll be done.
Yeah.
Crushed.
Yeah, no, that's my prediction right there. So that Africa put on 700, and then they bowl out Australia twice in one day. Done. See you later.
Oh God,
I'll take. I can take.
Yeah. All over.
Who you got? We got Rambada. Rambada takes a combined 7 wickets. Jensen, he takes a combined. I got Jensen taking. He can take a combined like 9 wickets. He can maybe. Yeah. Who else we got there?
Give somebody a 10-fer. Why not?
Who else
right?
can bowl? Yeah. I mean, Jensen can get 11 if he wants. He can give me 11 wickets in 20 out of 20. Who else bowls for them? Who's also going to be their bowler? Is Nyoki bowling? Is he going to bowl? Or someone else to go bowling?
I think a spinner will take some wickets up there in Lords. Tabriz Shamsi probably will come in handy.
But no, Australia's going to get absolutely rolled. Absolutely rolled. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's asking, where do you think we will see Pakistan Test cricket in the future? I will tell you, in the garbage.
There is no Test cricket. There is no future for Pakistan.
Yeah, in the garbage, man.
I don't know.
Here's a perspective.
It's a shame. I mean, they just had a huge run chase against South Africa. They just chased down one of the biggest scores ever against South Africa.
Plus, yeah.
They knocked over Australia in the ODIs over in Australia. Like, Pakistan just sometimes do Pakistan things. Like, that's like England do England things. Like, you just gotta, it's strategy, man. You just gotta, don't do nothing silly, man.
The dumpster, man. Dumpster. That's where you can find them. I don't see a way back from that any easier. That's them. We've got more comments. I got South Africa because it will be played at Lords. Okay.
Yeah, South Africa.
Zimbabwe win the series against Ireland today. Shout out to Zimbabwe. Washington Freedom might have their own stadium this year or next year. That's good to know. That would be sick.
All of them are building it. Yeah. So Seattle, Washington, New York, they're all put in. They all have to build a stadium. They'll have to build a stadium. It's all part of their contract. They got to build a stadium. So they're coming for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, technically, it wouldn't the Freedom's home ground be North Carolina, even though they're from DC. Technically,
true. Yeah.
Who else is over there? No, that's technically their ground, right? Right.
Right. Yeah. I think so. But the last one. Yeah, I think there'll be fields popping up in the next couple of years. We're going to see a lot of fields come up. So. There's a field in Colorado, a private facility I saw today, connected with somebody on Facebook, and they're launching a private 3-field facility in Colorado, which is, something great. So, I reached out to the guy, sent him a message on Facebook. I was like, man, what are you doing? How are you doing this? Let's get this going all across the country, so you got the expertise. Let's make it happen. So hopefully, he can let us know how he's doing this, and maybe we can come up with a plan to, get these private facilities across the board in the U.S. And that helps with the infrastructure. The more fields and facilities we have across the country. So that's what we're building towards. I think in the future, the World Test Championship Final should be 5 matches. I don't think that'll ever happen. Test cricket is going backwards, so
here's my take. Just before we wrap up, we're going to end on this high note here. With the 50-over cricket the way that it is, they should do like a 2-day 50-50, 50-50. Like you should have day one, you play 50-50, okay, and then you end the day's play, and you come back tomorrow, and you got 50-50. You get to bat again for second innings. Go again.
I think the way they're going to do that is they're going to keep the game at 100 overs, but they're going to break it down to 25 innings apiece. So one team will bat for 25 overs. That's your first innings. Then the other team will come and bat for 25 overs. Then the first team that is batted will come back for the second innings, will bat for another 25 overs, and then, so 2 innings. It's kind of like baseball. It's kind of like baseball. No,
are you saying a 50-over game gets broken down into 25, 25, 25, 25? Is that what you're saying?
That's right.
Maybe.
That's right. No, I've seen that happen. I've played a lot of league cricket in that format as well in prior years, right? So it's possible for them to break it down like that. If
I want to see 50-50, 50-50. That's what I want to see. 50-50 squared. You play a 50-50 game. Yeah. And then whatever that score is, put it in the bag, come back tomorrow, play 50-50 again.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna have these things where if a team gets bowled out for 250, doesn't matter. Other team can go out. They don't have to be as aggressive. They can just put 300 on the board. Like they can go over the 250, they can go to 300, go to 350, and then you come back the next day, and then that other team has a chance to post a bigger total. You have 50 overs to go hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's something different.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to change it up. I think the attention spans are getting smaller, so you got to get people into the game somehow. But we need more billboard cricket on more billboards in America. True, that will bring more attraction to the game. That were some of the last comments, and we want to end off by predicting the winner of Champions Trophy, Adam. And you guys can let us know in the comments in the chat your winners. Let us know. And then
in the chat we have India, South Africa final. That's a possibility. I'm big on New Zealand. I don't even think New Zealand wins. I mean, if it's an India SA final, I may give it to South Africa. I mean, South Africa looks solid. South Africa got robbed today. South Africa got absolutely robbed today. They needed to play today.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think South Africa and New Zealand might play the finals. And New Zealand, for me, takes the cake. I think I'm giving it to New Zealand, man. They're playing
very
solid cricket. Their bases are all covered. Absolutely.
And anyone can score 100. Any of their top 5 could score 100.
Yeah. And it's going to be South Africa versus India, and India will be the winner, is Imran's prediction here. So
my big thing holding India back is just I said they throw their wickets away. When they have to chase too many runs, they throw it away. That's the thing. Like India haven't had the pressure put on this tournament so far. They've been chasing low totals. If you're only chasing 250, 260, you don't. What is that?
That's true. That's why I'm not sure if in India under pressure, they get put under pressure. They might break. So it's possible a good team like New Zealand or Australia, South Africa, can put pressure on a good team like India. And I believe what's his name? Even Pat Cummins had come out, right? And made a comment. I don't know if you saw that. He said that, hey, it's good that the tournament can go on, but it's clear advantage that India gets to play all their matches in one field in Dubai. What do you think about that, man?
I thought about that actually. We didn't talk about it last week, but I was thinking about it during the week. I'm like, technically they just stay in one location. Everyone else flies back. No one else is flying. Even Pakistan had to leave Pakistan and go to India.
The host country had to leave to play in Dubai. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's all tailor-made for India to set up. It's all tailor-made for them. It's just how it is, until I don't know. I don't even know until what, but I mean, it's the way it's going to be. It's always going to be India. It's always going to be India. That's what it's always going to be. There's no other way to put it. There's got a bazillion people over there. Only do cricket. That's it. Set it up around them. Not enough around
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So it was you know, a good pod tonight, man. I think we've covered everything, you know.
Crushed it.
So crushed it tonight, man. Thank you for all the engagement tonight, all the questions and the love. As always, it's you know, good coming to you guys every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Adam and I join you guys. So you know, until next week, we'll be back here again, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, every Tuesday. So, you know, drop your questions, comments on this chat. We look through, you know, all of our chats to see if there's any questions you guys want to bring up for the following episodes, any ideas you guys have, anything you want us to discuss. You know, you guys can connect with us on our Facebook groups as well as on our Instagram. Follow Adam on Instagram and on TikTok. He's blown up there, getting million views, man. Millions of views, huh?
Instagram went hard this week.
I know, I saw that. That's sick.
If you guys want to check out how an American plays cricket with a baseball bat, go ahead. Go look up for that video on the channel. I got pretty good. The funny part of that video there is that everyone in the chat's like, "Oh, you're actually pretty decent." I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty decent. I can play with a cricket bat. I can find the middle of a cricket bat. I can find the middle of a baseball bat. It's good stuff.
Yeah. That was good skill. I saw the cuts, bro. I saw the cuts and I saw the straight defend, you know, straight front foot.
What I want you to do, everyone out there, if you're a cricket fan out there, you're watching this, get yourself an old baseball bat, pull it out of the closet if you got one. Go and face your first 15 balls of your net session with a baseball bat. Like, you will find the middle. Like, I batted so well after that. I was actually quite surprised how many balls found the middle and how good I was timing it, because you've got a little less on each side. So you've got to time it perfectly.
Yeah.
And it's really good at you finding the middle. Like, it's not rare that I don't find the middle. I'm finding the middle a lot. I mean, I've got a big bat. I've got a big kahuna. I ain't missing much. Yeah. But I mean, it's good for the timing. The weight of the bat also had this very good weight of the bat. Working the big helps you like swing through the ball a little more. I feel like I noticed when I switched from the baseball bat back to the cricket bat, I noticed that I was a little more, not too much but choking up a little more on my cricket bat. And I was like, oh, it actually feels a little better sliding my hands down the handle a little bit, have a little bit higher on the handle. Felt a little more comfortable. So give it a go with a baseball bat. Get your eye in. If not, just grab a stump. Let's grab a stump. But
you can grab a stump, or you can you know, cut your bat in half. We have a couple of bats up at the indoor session where we've chopped them right through the middle, and we use just half a bat to get a knock in before we use a full bat. So that really helps too. It's a similar concept as using a baseball bat, and once you actually go on to using a full bat, you know, makes life much easier, and you can find the middle much easier as well. So you know, last comment here, New Zealand will be knocked out in the semifinals. That's his hot take. Hot take right there. So
we'll see next week.
We'll end the pod here.
End the pod there.
Know, and let's see you know, what happens this week. We'll come back again on Tuesday next week, 8:30 p.m. Lock it down, mark your calendars, and you'll see Adam and I again here next week. So thank you again for joining us on this Cricket Weekly. As always, Nabil Khan and Adam Bannon from the Reverse Scoop on Cricket Weekly, calling it off. Have a good night, everyone.